we're going to get into some more detail. So I'm going to work on my dog. So what I need to do is I need to make, first of all, his face. And I'm going to make 3 balls of clay for his eyes. That's a little big. I don't want it quite that big. 1, 2, and I'm going to make those balls of clay before I attach them on the head, because I want them to be the same size. Then I'm going to make a 3rd ball of clay, and I'm going to smush it, and I'm going to press it around the outside here to smooth out the edges. And then I'm going to take this lovely tool, make sure it's nice and clean. Clean it on the side of my desk or on that box there, works nice. And then I'm going to cut it in half. And I'm going to be working with some very small shapes now, so I need to be really careful. Now, even if it's a very small piece, I still need to score and slip on. So I'm scoring. And I'm going to put a little bit of slip. This time I'm not using my finger because I need to keep my hands clean so I can work with these little bitty pieces. Put my eyeballs on. And then I'm going to take my eyelids and I'm going to play with different ways of putting them on. If I put them like that, he will look angry. If I put them on the sides like this, then he might look kind of worried. And you can make these bigger too. If you want to make that 3rd circle a little bit bigger, you could. I'm just going to, oh, if you put them on the bottom of his eyes, then he's going to look really tired. He's going to look like he's got bags under his eyes, or specs. Alright, so even though these are very small pieces, and you know what, I do want to make those bigger. I'm going to make that 3rd ball of clay bigger so that my eyelids can be a little bit more expressive, because that's really going to give him character. So get rid of that, do those over, and I'm going to score behind the eye. Slip it, and I wanted to put just enough slip on there to attach it, but I don't want to smooth these out because I want to leave that characteristic. So, oops, sorry, this is the flat edge. I'm going to put the round edge on the back. I'm going to put the flat edge there. Put the round edge, score that a little bit. I think I forgot to score that one, but it's pretty stuck on there. And then put his eyes on. Okay, he still looks like he could be an amphibian. If I don't put ears and a nose on, then he could be an amphibian still. So now I'm going to put his nose on. And a mammal's nose is pretty much a triangle. Kind of like a little candy corn. That is a huge nose. He doesn't need a nose that big. He needs a smaller nose. I'm going to make a smaller nose. And then I'm going to score and slip on the nose. And score this little piece here. And slip it on. So I got my little nose. And then a little bit of detail here for the face. Dogs and cats have little poofy cheeks. So I'm going to score the sides here. You know what? I'm going to put that nose on, and I'm going to put that nose back on in a minute. I'm going to take it off for now. And I'm going to, oh, I need my slip. I'm going to make him have some poofy cheeks. And I think cats are even more poofy than dogs. But it depends on what kind of animal you have, or yeah, it depends on what kind of cat or dog you have. Like this guy, he could totally be a rabbit if I just give him long ears now. Okay, then I'm going to put my nose back on. So he's got some characteristic there. Got a little poofy face. Then I'm going to use my tool. I'm going to put just a little bitty nostril there and there. See what that looks like. Smooth this in a little bit. Just kind of press that down a little bit. And then I'm going to make him looking up. So I'm going to put those irises in, and that adds that final touch on the face. Oh, see how cute he is? Those 2 little dots that you put in there last minute, important. Okay, so there's my dog face. Now for my penguin face. Make sure you're using your board. It's going to really help stabilize your piece. So my penguin, distinguishing characteristics on my penguin are, he has eyes. His eyes are going to be pretty much like everybody else's eyes, but he has a beak. So I'm going to make a beak. It could be a little beak or it could be a big beak. It could be 4-sided or it could be 3-sided. I'm going to make mine 3-sided. So I take my beak, take my ball of clay, and I press it on the table. So I've got one flat end, and then I've got a 3-sided pyramid. Decide where I want his beak to be. And then I'm going to score it, slip it, score this side too, and slip it good. Now I'm not going to smooth that in because I want it to have a little bit of a difference between the face and the beak. But one little thing that you can do to really help a beak is to put 2 little dots, because those are, honestly, I'm not sure if I know why those are there. I assume that they're there for breathing, but I'm not sure. Alright, then I'm going to put on his little eyeballs. So I'm going to make my penguin a little bit crazy. So I'm going to give him one really big eyeball and one really small eyeball. I'm going to score. And you can play with how close or how far away you put the eyes. It'll look a little bit crazier if you get them too close or too far apart. So I score it, I slip it, I put it on. And I'm not going to smooth in the eyes because I need those to be distinct from the rest of the face. So he's got one big eye, one little eye. I'm going to make my pancake. For the eyelids. And cut it in half. I'm going to score. Alright, I think I'm going to make this guy look a little bit angry, which is really scary to have him angry and crazy. So I'm going to take the round edge and put that on the back here, and then put it inside there. Bring those 2 eyelids down. Okay, he's looking a little bit crazy. Oh, I need to bring that one up a little bit because they don't both fit in there. It's okay not to get it perfect on the first time. You just fix it. Oh, there we go. Now her looks very angry and crazy. Crazy and angry. Uh-oh. Push those down there. Now, the back of the eyelids, if you wanted to smooth those in, you could. A little bit. But it just needs to look like it's not just part of the face. And then I'm going to make his eyes come in a little bit. He is an angry bird. Alright. There's my penguin face. Now for my elephant face. My elephant is going to get 2 eyes. You could give him 3 eyes if you wanted to, I suppose. So I make my 3 balls of clay. And I'm going to bring this down. That ridge didn't really turn out where I wanted it to. I'm going to press this down a little bit, because I'm going to bring my nose off of there, off that point. And I'm going to score it. Slip it. And slip it. Okay. And I'm going to have my elephant looking down. So I'm going to put those dots in there. And now I need to put on my eyelids. So I'm going to make my pancake, pressing it on the top and bottom and the sides and turning it. That's going to help me get a nice smooth edge here. When you do your eyelids, you really need to use very plastic clay. And I cut it in half, score, slip it good. I'm going to kind of smooth these out too around where the eyelid goes over the eye. Put some slip on it. Now this guy, he does not look like an elephant yet until I put on his nose and his ears. He's not going to look like an elephant. Right now, he could be just about any animal. It's those distinguishing characteristics that really add the final touch. Okay, there's my elephant head, or elephant face, just the eyes. Haven't really got the nose on. I guess I could go ahead and do my nose, couldn't I? Because that's part of his face. That's going to help big time if I add that nose. You do pieces that touch, or that are really long and thick. I really would suggest that you make those pieces touch the ground. This guy, his trunk does not touch the ground. And he's lucky that he hasn't fallen apart yet. Okay, so now I'm going to make the trunk, and I'm going to exaggerate that. Really, really going to exaggerate that. It needs to be thick at the base, just like the neck that I did on my giraffe. Solid and thick. And I'm going to make a little indentation there so it fits on the tip of my elephant. Put my elephant on a diagonal because you need to make sure that everything sticks to or stays on the board. Okay, it's a little bit long. I'm going to cut that down a little bit. Then, and this clay is very, very plastic right now, so it's kind of a little bit hard to work with. I'm going to cut that because he has these little things at the end that help him pick things up. Okay, and then I'm going to score it and slip it. Slip good. Alright, now I want to really smooth this in because the trunk doesn't look separate from the elephant head. The trunk is part of that elephant's head. So it needs to be smoothed in. And I'm going to bring it down. Okay. Right now he just looks like a snuffleupagus because he doesn't have ears. So I'm going to go ahead and put his ears on because I really think that he's going to be sad without ears. So I'm going to get 2 balls of clay for his ears. Very distinguishing characteristic of my elephant. He needs ears. This clay is very plastic, so I'm just playing with it a little bit so that it gets a little bit less plastic. Then I'm going to cut it in half. So I get my 2 pieces about the same size. I can kind of feel it too. Alright, then I'm going to start pressing it and turning it with my fingers. And I really want these elephant ears to be big. Big, 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 big. Because I want it to exaggerate. The part that attaches to the head, I want that to be a little bit wider right there so it's easy to attach. Turn it. Put your fingers on the outside to get the outside nice and smooth. And then I want it a little bit longer, more oval than a circle. And those are about the same size. Press that down so I've got a flat edge to attach to. And this little guy is going to completely transform once I put on his ears. So I need to score it, slip it, and then, oh, I need to score this too. I'll score this. And then I'm going to attach my elephant's ears. And you can kind of bend those a little bit, make them a little bit more organic to give them a little bit more character. Alright, I have a slip on there. Oh, he just turned into an elephant. He was a snuffleupagus, but now he's an elephant. Okay, you can add one more characteristic to your elephant, which would be tusks. So I'm going to put 2 tusks on, 2 balls of clay the same size, roll those out, and then going to pinch it into a teardrop shape gradually thinning it out so it looks more like a carrot form. Not too thin, because remember, clay breaks if it's too thin. Keep twisting it and squeezing it. I want to compare those two before I put any on. That's pretty close. And then I'm going to score both sides. The tusk is going to be down below. And slip it. Actually, I'm going to make these tusks come up. And slip it. And then I'll come back later and add some more texture. Okay, I have a little problem. This is my dog. My dog fell. I wasn't paying attention. And if your animal falls, then you have to figure out what to do with it next. So, that's my next problem. Because now my dog, it is transformed. It was supposed to look something like this. Yeah, no, not happening anymore. Alright, so I need to transform that dog because I accidentally knocked him down. So, my dog is going to now be, actually I think I'll take off the eyes because, yeah, that's not working. Alright, I need to redo his face now. Now, he's kind of flat. Gosh. It is initially disappointing. And I'm actually a little bit happy that it happened to me so that I can show you it happens. And when it happens, sorry, but you don't get a whine to me. You have to acknowledge that it's a drag and then move on. But now, remember I said earlier that he looked like a frog to me? Oh, dude, now he totally looks like a frog to me. So I'm turning him into a frog. Because things happen and you move on. And that's just the way life is. Alright, so I had a little stick. Where did I put my stick? Beep, beep. Okay. So the frog nose, it sort of comes out like the dog does. Except at the tip, they just have like these two nostrils. So just these two little nostrils here. Then I'm going to put eyeballs back on him. And I like my frogs to have really big eyeballs. So I'm going to give him some fairly large eyeballs. Yeah, that works. And then a pancake for my eyelids. And I cut my pancake in half. And I scorp and I slip. Now remember, I'm requiring everyone to make their eyeballs like this. And I want you to really experiment with how those eyeballs fit on and the eyelids. This guy, I'm going to make those eyelids go straight up instead of at an angle. And I'm going to use the flat edge down this time. So the basic concept is 3 balls of clay, make one of them into a pancake, and then everything else from there, that is your choice. You have to decide how you're going to make that animal look. Alright, so remember, if your animal falls, you get 2 seconds to mourn the loss, and then you got to move on, because it just is. Alright, and then eyeballs, or irises. And to make him look more like a frog, I want to make claws for him. So I'm going to make 4 balls of clay for his claws. And I don't want these to be too thin. I want to be thin enough that I can make my little feet, but I don't want them to be too thin. Notice it's already thinner than my pinky. I wouldn't make it much thinner than that. Oh, I want to make sure this is cleaned off. I'm going to cut out my toes. When you're doing multiples, it's much easier to do several parts at a time. So now I'm making my little claws. What really made this guy look like an amphibian is where when the back of the head smoothed into the body, that really started making him look like an amphibian. Okay, then I'm going to score each one of my legs so I can slip those on. Slope, 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 slope. These are actually a little bit thin, so I need to be kind of careful with these. I'm going to score underneath. I'm going to set those on top of my legs. This is another point where it's really important that you leave it on the board so that it doesn't fall. You've got some smaller pieces that don't fall off like that. And then I want that foot to touch. So I'm going to press it on there, and then I'm going to press it down to the ground. Smooth it out a little bit, and then make sure that those claws touch the ground, because they're going to be more stable if they're touching the ground. And there I have a little frog.
Hey, my name's Kermit.
Alright, I'm going to put Kermit out of the way so I don't knock him over again, because that was a drag. Okay, now I need my pig face. Alright, so I'm going to start off with my balls of clay. I'm going to make my eyeballs. And my eyelid. I'm going to score and slip. Every time you put two pieces of clay together, what do you have to do? Score and slip. What? Score and slip. What?
Score and slip, Miss Littlefinger. Oh, okay.
Alright, so I got my piggy's eyes. He's got some big eyes too. Alright. And then I'm going to cut his eyelids, score it, and slip it. Remember, this part is up to you how you want to put those on. Slip it. And put my iris in. Okay, now he does not look like a pig yet. This is what's going to make him look like a pig. He's going to have a snout. I'm going to start with it really big and see if I need to make it smaller. Actually, kind of like it big. That's a pretty big snout. Maybe a little bit smaller. Just a little bit smaller. Alright. Squeeze it between my fingers. This side I'm squeezing the top and the bottom. This hand is turning. We're going to score and slip. Oink, 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 oink. I need to smooth this in, but I don't want to round it out. I really need for it to go whoop, whoop. And then he needs 2 holes for his snout. And now I have a piggy. He still needs ears.